You're watching Masters in Trading Live with Jonathan Rose.
Hey guys, it's Jonathan. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I got a big show for you today. With Warsh now being nominated by Trump to be the next Fed chair, that is going to move the markets. That's why we're having a lot of volatility since this has been called. And what I did this weekend is I built a tool because I think that we need to follow what is most important to Warsh. And Warsh cares, and I studied this all weekend, he cares about global liquidity. He is so focused on liquidity in the markets that I think that's what we need to death stare for these next foreseeable future. So I'm going to show you exactly what I did. I built the tool, and I built it for everybody. We're going to first share it with our all access community, but throughout this week, we'll be sharing the tool with everybody because it's something that is going to give us a lot of value. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. I'm super excited to share this with you guys. I got the chat up. Thank you guys all for joining. I'm like giddy to be able to talk about this today. So working name, we're going to call it the Liquidity Compass. It's tracking the market's liquidity regime. Warsh cares about liquidity, guys. So why this matters. Kevin Warsh, everything he writes about, money in circulation, it's his number one driver. Balance sheet policy drives asset inflation and market behavior. Without a doubt, liquidity is dominant. Regime defining variable. He cares about market liquidity. And this changes how markets behave during stress because in the past, whenever there was stress in the market, the Fed would come and save with liquidity. That is going to change under a Warsh regime. He doesn't believe in the Fed coming in with liquidity to save the markets. I'm going to be able to show you this on a chart. It's going to be very, very telling. So what did I build? I built this to track the market liquidity, not to predict price. It's a simple framework, and we want to use this for daily and weekly content. Here's what I did. Here's the math behind it. This tool looks at the Fed balance sheet, it looks at Treasury cash, and it looks at reverse repo. So it's the net liquidity. The math is just Fed assets minus Treasury cash minus park cash. We all have access to this information in our charting platform. You just don't know how to access it. So that's why I built the tool that we could easily follow the Fed liquidity. What matters most, guys, it's the change. It's the velocity of change. So here we go. I have it right on here as well. So here is the JR Liquidity Compass. Here's what it looks like right here. Green, liquidity is expanding. Markets are more forgiving. When we have red, it's the histogram down here. So let's talk about this. 2020, the Fed came in to save the market. There it is. Now, why did it rally? Look, liquidity. Fed takes liquidity out of the market here. Okay? Use this as a guide here. What's not going to happen under Warsh is we are not going to get this big savior when the market gets hit. This also happened in April, right here, where the Fed came in with massive liquidity dumps to support the market. This is something that will absolutely change with Warsh. So let me pull it up here. And again, today we are going to be sharing this with our all access group. Throughout the week, we'll be sharing this with everybody. I actually built this for Thinkorswim. Also, we built this for TradingView as well, so you can use PineScript. Now, if I put it on 15 years and we go weekly, here's you can see, look, Fed liquidity. Okay, Fed, 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 Fed. Look at the little drops. When Fed is taking liquidity out of the market. When the Fed takes liquidity out of the market. Okay, notice the pullback. Fed comes and saves. We're going to see a lot more red. And what we want to see with these rallies, the more red, the more we're not going to be able to believe the power of those rallies. So play around with it. I'm a huge believer that the creative trader wins. That's why this is a 12-month chart. That's why knowing Warsh, his absolute priority is going to be how much money is in the system. You see this right now. Okay? You want the confirmation? Wait till Fed puts money into the system. Right now they are not. This is something that we all should be following very closely. Before I hop off, I have one more thing to show you guys. This morning I put a quiz question in our Discord. I'll show you the quiz question. Here it is. Here's our Discord and our advanced notice community. It's right here. Quiz time. I wrote quiz time. What's interesting or special about the range in the QQQ this morning? Here's the answer. QQQ, if I put her on weekly, I'm going to put it on weekly and take this off of price. Look, this is big. So it's Monday. The low of the week is the exact same as the low of the previous week. If you want a line in the sand of what's going to happen this week, here it is, guys. 618. Any trade above 618 is bullish. Volatility will come out of the market. If this market gets under last week's low, we are going to come down and try to get the previous week's low at 607. Last trade, 626. 618 is going to be our line in the sand. So this week, guys, we're going to share that tool with our community today. And then throughout the week, we'll be sharing that tool with everybody. Make sure you give a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you guys like that. We want to watch liquidity in the market under Warsh. All access, you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.